Stadia has increased their day one game count from 12 to 22.
But is this enough to turn the tide on the Stadia hate?
Probably not.
Hot take.
Stadia Live. Yeah, I am so excited about this, folks. I picked up a Stadia off Jay, who joins me on this show sometimes.
What are you pointing at me?
Well, Jay didn't want the Stadia anymore. He was like, I don't want this thing. So before he got rid of his pre-order, I picked it up from him because...
That was so kind of you.
Really, I gotta be there day one. I gotta see this. I wasn't excited to begin with, but now I am just all kinds of excited because I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, last week we had heard about the launch of, like, what titles are going to be there at launch. We heard about those titles. And none of them really particularly rubbed us the right way.
They did not.
For lack of a better way of saying it. But now we're hearing that a lot of the other games that were supposed to trickle out within the coming weeks are going to be pushed forward.
Yes.
So it's a bigger launch.
It's a bigger launch.
Which is great.
Yes. But
great for Stadia.
Okay. This basically looks like a good thing, but at the same time it doesn't. Look at that list. We've got 22 games that are going to be coming out on day one. Well, we think day one because it's day one isn't day one for everybody.
Yeah, we don't even know what day one is exactly. We know that the service is going to be up on the 19th, but not everyone's going to have their controllers on the 19th.
Right.
But you can still kind of get on there and make your username, and you can still play, I guess, if you're using specific hardware. Look, Shane, okay, problem. Stadia always seemed like it was supposed to be something that was like, it's so easy.
Yeah.
You have a controller, and it hooks up to your TV or your smartphone, and it's so stupid easy, you stupid.
Actually, what you just said...
You should be able to play Stadia anywhere, anytime without thinking, I'm not smart enough for this. I must be really, really stupid.
Okay, so the controller doesn't actually hook up to your device, right?
No, it hooks up to the internet.
It hooks up to the internet, and it never interfaces with your TV unless you hook it up directly to your phone, where you have to do that on launch because things are so wild.
But you don't have to do it every time.
It's crazy.
I'm trying to read this.
Nobody knows what's going on.
And figure out what's going on with it. And on launch, there's going to be a lot of things that are missing. Yes. You talked about the Reddit AMA, and there's like UI things and different accessibilities and achievements are not coming out. But eventually, one day, it's going to be an explosion of achievements, and you're going to be overwhelmed with a wave of the great things you've done in all of your games.
We assume. It's just so crazy, folks. That list we were taking a look at right there. On November 19th, one of the days, we're going to be seeing 22 games. Now,
you want to talk about some of the new ones?
Let's talk about some of the new ones. Yeah, this is important, okay?
Yeah.
So, right off the bat, the initial ones we talked about are still there, but now we've got Farming Simulator 19.
Yes, Final Fantasy 15.
Football Manager 2020.
Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle.
Grid.
Metro Exodus.
NBA 2K20.
Rage 2.
Trials Rising.
Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yes, and coming by the end of 2019, so that's the next several weeks, we're going to be having Borderlands 3, Darksiders Genesis, Dragon Ball 2, and Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Yeah. And Borderlands 3. Did we say Borderlands 3?
I think we said Borderlands 3.
You can see it anyway. Shane, questions.
Yep.
These titles are being pushed up, and we have to know why. If Stadia is this great thing, and they're expecting people to jump on board when they announced those other titles from like a week ago, why the sudden change up?
Okay.
Why could this be? Was there some sort of competing company that had some sort of big XO event, which probably prompted them to do this?
Yeah, Microsoft pretty much came out and said, we got xCloud, and guess what, folks?
Holy crap, look at all those games.
50 games coming out, but not only that, the preview to play it is totally free if you live in the regions where it's going to be free.
Right.
Just understand, Google is charging you to play a smaller amount of games you have to buy individually, and Stadia is struggling because of this. Microsoft just went out of nowhere and just said, we're just going to do this. We're going to do this for free, and eventually they'll charge for it. But for now,
they did the most Microsoft move ever. Microsoft, this is something that I do kind of like about their approach, even though as one of the console big boys right now, they're not doing the best. They see what everyone else is doing, and then they try to one-up it, right? Yep. They have this history of doing that. Oh, the PS4 is more powerful than the Xbox One. Oh, well, we're going to make the Xbox One X like a few years later. Oh, there's PlayStation Plus, a bunch of free games and cool online stuff. They're like, okay, well, games with gold is going to be a thing. It's same thing with Game Pass and PlayStation Now, right? So Microsoft basically did that with Stadia. Then the Stadia was like, okay, no. We need more games as soon as possible. We need to sweeten the deal, not just because of what Microsoft is doing. And I think it is very much a reflex from them. But I think it may also be because they got early word about maybe how their product is. Reviews are starting to flood in about Stadia.
Folks, I can't find a positive review. Everyone has had mixed or negative reactions.
Lukewarm
at best. At best, someone was like, it turns on. But then there's a lot of people that said it didn't turn on.
Can we look at some of these super quick?
Sure.
Okay, The Verge said there's no reason anyone should buy into Stadia right now.
Financial Post said, if you head in anticipating an experience with the same graphic fidelity and tight, instantaneous control as you'd get from a high-end gaming PC or console, you're bound to at least be a little disappointed.
Yep.
That's one of the best reviews out there. Look, tons of people, Polygon, PC World, Entropy, everyone had mixed or negative opinions about this.
I like PC World. It's a glimpse of a future some other company will probably perfect.
And that's probably going to be Microsoft. Look, what we're seeing right now, all these games being front-loaded is an attempt to distract people from what's going on. And even front-loading their games still isn't higher than what Microsoft is doing with xCloud. The reason why you don't front-load games on initial launch is so that you can trickle out games that come out over time. Problem is, many of the games that are going to be on Stadia have already come out on other platforms, so they should all just come out, and new games should be coming out on day one.
But we don't necessarily have those new games,
we do
unfortunately.
not.
So Shane, if they are pushing all these games forward, so people don't have to wait so that they can possibly compete with Microsoft. What's going to be coming within the new year or the few weeks in which they were going to trickle out those games? Do you feel like Stadia is going to just start pushing things forward that they had planned way down the road in 2020 or something? Or is this just like the boat's sinking?
Yeah.
You do anything,
right?
you can to bail.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I don't know. I mean, look, there are plenty of video games out there they can just start putting on there. I mean, they could probably buy Atari and put a bunch of Atari 2600 games and arcade games on there if they really wanted to, but it's getting weird. We're not seeing a successful good reason to have this platform, because not only are we having issues that exist with the running of things, but I took a look at an article from Digital Foundry, and in the article they were looking at a side-by-side.
Yeah, the fidelity of games playing on console,
yes,
and then the games playing through the Stadia service. So
if you don't know about Digital Foundry, fantastic folks from, I believe, Eurogamer.
Yes.
They do amazing detailed work about taking a look at hardware and software. If you don't know who they are, please check them out. Richard Ledbetter from the group was looking at Stadia, and the games visually look worse on Stadia compared to Xbox One X right now.
This is exactly what I don't know if the folks at Stadia, to be fair, were moving forward with the messaging that this would be the best looking experience when compared to consoles. But a lot of people had that expectation.
Yes.
So seeing that not on day one, maybe you're thinking, okay, there'll be a rollout and things will get better. Hey, it's possible.
Yeah, of course.
If you completely ruin the name of your product on day one because of all these negative reviews, how many people are going to jump on board, and how long will Google hold on to this product? Or will this just go right to that graveyard that we keep pulling up every time people talk about products that they ditch?
And then, see, this is the actual problem. When a console launches, and this console launch has been crazy so far because it's not even really direct. Like, we couldn't tell you a launch date because there is a date, November 19th, apparently, but not everybody's getting it on the same date. Some people are getting it later, which means
the controller, the physical controller,
which is insane considering they don't actually have to ship anything to turn the thing on. You know what I mean? Other console launches have had to work with millions of units being shipped around the world, and some companies have managed to do that worldwide on a single day at a single time. For some reason, Stadia is unable to deliver a code to people or a website to people. It's been crazy. But with all that, okay, with what's going on, that day one, you would expect this system to be performing amazing when it comes to just the active visual presentation of games. And to make things that much worse, one of the games I noticed, which is one of the newer, the latest Tomb Raider game, on PC, it utilizes real-time ray tracing for lighting effects. And see, that visual effect is really hard for modern consoles to run. So it was my expectation that we would actually see that on Stadia, but according to what Digital Foundry was showing off, whether it's on or off, it does not look any different than Xbox One X.
Now, that's a little bit scary to me. I was expecting a lot of power, like a lot of other folks. I know that many people that are behind the Stadia product as a whole think of this period before the sort of free service comes out later in 2020 as sort of a beta release of Stadia. But I don't feel like the messaging has been that direct from Stadia themselves. It feels like the product is going to be here within the next couple of days. I don't think they can lean on that excuse.
I think the best company I can really think of in a comparable asset, and this is a little bit of a shoot, folks, so don't act like this is one-to-one directly, the Wii U launch. You see, when they launched the Wii U, not everybody knew how to make games for 2 screens at the same time. I mean, we had the DS, so that was a thing that did exist, but the concept of making console games that are very power intensive, running an image on one screen and then processing a completely different image on another screen is a very hard process. The Wii U had to be very powerful to do that, and it wasn't a cheap system. It was very expensive, but the concept there was confusing, and it was hard for consumers to understand, and I think we're in the same zone. So the Wii U almost launched in a beta state, even though it didn't. Like, it's just the developers treated it like that.
At least that hardware across the board would always perform the same way.
Yes.
What we're hearing now from reviews from Stadia is like, it all depends on your internet connection. Like we assumed it very much would. Yes. I don't know that we're necessarily ready for what Stadia has to offer.
No,
right?
I honestly don't think we are. I think that what Google has attempted is admirable, but other companies have attempted this in the past. And the fact of the matter is, Microsoft seems to be going, we can do it. And even if Microsoft has streaming that's just a little bit worse than Stadia, they're still going to win just because they have the titles. I mean, the idea right now that a lot of people are talking about with this data from the reviews I've seen is that people are saying maybe gamers are not going to notice just how awful the experience is compared to modern consoles. And you know what? There's going to be a lot of gamers out there that are going to be fine with it. They're not going to care so much about the high quality visuals. They're not going to care about real-time ray tracing. Maybe a little bit of lag in the control. Maybe they don't even care about that latency. Maybe they don't care about that. But the problem is, if someone else offers the exact same package of the same kind of inferior streaming tech or whatever it is, and they offer it with a better library, they automatically win.
It's not just a better library, though, Shane, because what we know about Project X Cloud is that it's going to be linked in with Game Pass, isn't it?
Yes, that's true.
So you're not paying any more for the Project X Cloud accessibility. So people that are already on board with Game Pass, it'll be an easier way for them to trickle into that infrastructure, that product, than Stadia. Stadia is a whole new building you have to open the door into and go into that ecosystem. And like I said at the beginning of this talk, it's way more confusing than it should be. This should be super simple for folks to pick up. And, you got a thing?
I got something. Okay, Stadia. Here's one of Stadia's biggest advantages. You start the game and you can start playing it immediately. You don't have to download the game. In fact, I saw a lot of people talking about this on the reviews going, it's instant. Okay, well, here's how Microsoft beats you. And Microsoft, if you're watching, and I know some of you folks are, take this and put it in your marketing. It's so simple. xCloud lets you stream the game before it's finished downloading. Think about that. You're going to get the game, it's going to download to your hardware, but during that time it's downloading, you can stream it and play it. And your game save goes to the cloud and goes onto your download, so then your downloaded experience is solid. Think about that. Stadia can't even do that.
That's great. Even if xCloud was only used for that one purpose. Like, okay, you can download your game digitally, but here, we have this service, you can play it, and then the fidelity of the game, you never have any problems. The latency hiccups aren't as serious. You don't have changes in resolution because of an odd internet connection.
Or when you have a preloaded game that's been encoded so it doesn't actually get playable and it has to decode, during that decode time, which sometimes can take an hour, it really depends on what kind of hardware you're using, during that decode time, you could just be streaming the game. I mean, for many games, the intro, if it's a Kojima game, will be 6 hours of just a cutscene before you actually play anything. So you're basically just watching a movie anyway. Folks, Microsoft is going to beat Stadia to a bloody pulp. There's no going around this. If they just implement that one thing, a free option. If it's a free option, what if they just give xCloud away for free to people that have pre-ordered games and they just get to stream that game instantly as it's downloading? You know what I mean?
I mean, that's up to them. They're already doing something pretty great with it by linking it into Game Pass later, I think. Like I said, not having any barriers there. Wow! Stadia! Who would have? We've been doing nothing but praising this product since day one.
I think so.
This came out of nowhere.
You know, I feel
who could have seen this coming?
Who could have seen this? I feel as though we're at this really interesting time where a lot of companies are trying to do streaming, and Google's attempt to do this doesn't make a lot of sense. There have been things they've been saying that don't sound accurate. There have been messaging that is just completely just crazy to me. But you've got Sony and you've got Xbox that are both going into the streaming thing. And look, if you didn't believe Microsoft was going to have some kind of advantage or some kind of pull coming into the next generation of consoles, you really got to look at this, okay? Stadia isn't even a real competition to them, and they're wiping the floor with them. But when Microsoft comes out and starts using this tech against Sony, is that going to have some kind of advantage in the next console generation? Who knows? But folks, what do you think? Are you excited about Stadia?
Oh, how many of you bought into the Founders Edition?
Are you like
how many
me?
of you folks are out there?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're hitting that like button right now.
Are you going to be buying...
Please subscribe.
Are you going to be buying more games? Oh, we're going to buy Stadia games, aren't
No, we're going to support Stadia.
we? Yeah.
For a little bit.
Let's see what happens.